Don't stop.
Hi, thanks for joining me on the Everything and Anything and a Bit Gay podcast. This is my weekly podcast episode, and it is called The Gay Bit. And this is episode 4 of The Gay Bit. So each week I am bringing you something that is gay. So my podcast is called Everything and Anything and a Bit Gay. And I want to make sure you get the full amount of gay that I can give you. So my topic today is really going to focus on myself, my friends, and the traits as a toxic gay man. And tell you why I'm not really going to change who I am. So first, I want to say before I start this episode, I'm not actually toxic. I am just selectively unwell in a very specific and maybe glamorous way, I'll call it. So let me set the tone about who I am, who my friends are, and who a lot of gay men are. They are playful, they are sarcastic, they are self-aware for sure, maybe a little vain in some ways, or the opposite of that. They feel completely like they don't fit in. Maybe slightly unhinged in some ways, politically incorrect a lot of times. If you would hear the conversations that me and my friends have, you'd be like, oh my God, these people are so politically incorrect. They shouldn't be saying that. Can't say that or whatever. We are politically incorrect a lot. Judgmental in the best way. Me and a friend can be out and somebody can pass us in a restaurant and we both give each other a look and we know right away what each other's thinking about. That does not fit them. That is an outdated outfit. That hair is a mess. They haven't brushed it. They look like they just woke up and haven't brushed their hair in 6 weeks. So we're going to unpack some of my toxic traits. And by my, I'm talking about all of ours. So what I always think is I want friends that are emotionally available, successful, funny. I want cute friends, maybe a friend that probably has to go to therapy, but also maybe a little mysterious and also slightly unavailable to people, not me, but for other people. So if this is you, you would be a perfect friend for me and my friends. So, this is what I don't like about people. If I text you and you text back too fast and you're a new friend, I might think that you're desperate. Or I might actually love it because I'm like, this person actually cares about our friendship. When friends don't text me back and it takes them forever, I'm just like, oh God, I'm done with them. So I don't know what the line is there, but you have to just figure it out. Sometimes I also think it's kind of disrespectful because if I'm texting you about something and it's something important and it takes you 2 days, which I have friends that do that. I won't say Jennifer's name too often in this podcast about this, but sometimes she will come into the conversation in a group chat when we have moved on to 5 other things. And here she comes. And I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, she was doing nothing. That's the answer. And then I have certain friends that want to talk about nothing but their work and how successful they are. And that's great. I love to hear about that. But that can't be all you are. You've got to be more than that. And then I also want to talk about kind of the Instagram delusion. So before I decide if I actually like a new friend, I will go and do some stalking about who you are online. I will go and check out your Instagram. I'll see if you have your Facebook open. I will go look at pictures of you from your old Instagram, or I will Google you, and most likely you'll have photos or videos that come up. I'll see who you're following. I'll look at vacation pictures. I'm not the type of person that if you have bad pictures out there, or maybe, because let me tell you, I have some pictures that a friend of mine sent me this past week, and she did this video where she pulled all these pictures from Facebook over the last 10 years of our friendship and sent it to me. And I fucking hated it because I'm like, okay, I had my fat phase for like 2.5 years after COVID because I quit smoking completely. I couldn't go to the gym and I blew up like a balloon. And I have this, it's always shows on my face first. So when I'm getting fat, and if you watch my podcast on video, you will see when I'm getting fat because you will see my face is fat. As you can see right now, my face is not fat. So I am in a perfect weight. But I cannot necessarily judge people that has had old bad pictures, but some of my friends will. They will go, and if they're like looking to date somebody or they're going to be friends with somebody new, and they will go and look and they're like, oh, that's a bad picture. They're disqualified. I will just say I'm not that judgy, and I know everybody has bad pictures, but I do want cute friends. I don't want an ugly friend. All my friends that I have, I think, are really cute. Not cute where I would date them cute, but I want them to find a date. They're just not my type. No, but none of my friends are my type. I would never, if I was single, I would sleep with none of my friends. Yeah, none, zero. There's none. They're all like my sisters, or yeah, they're not my type. And I know a lot of gay people go and sleep with all the friends that they have now, or they've slept with them all. That is me. That was never me, actually. Well, was it? Maybe in my early 20s, I slept with a few of my friends and became friends with them. But I'm actually not friends with any of them any longer. All of my long-term friends I never slept with. And it's better that way. So, there's some personality differences in the gay community and my friendship circle. There's always that one chill guy that's in there. I'm trying to think who that is in my circle. Yeah, I know who it is. I'm not going to say names of my friends, but there's always the funny one. And I think I'm probably one of the funnier friends in my circle of friends. There's the mysterious guy, and I know exactly who that is. Everybody has that mysterious friend where you don't really know what's happening with them in their life. They'll give you little hints here and there about who they are, who they're dating. You could know them for 2 decades, and you still don't really know who they are. We all have that friend. Then you have that friend that just doesn't give a fuck about anything. I don't care. I don't care who likes me. I don't care if I have friends. I don't care if I ever speak to you again. But secretly, like, I need you and I need all my friends. I have a couple of friends like that. They need me. They need all the friends. They need more friends than they have. They're single, and the reason they're single is because they pretend they don't care, but actually they care about everything, and they overanalyze everything. And overanalyzing, I have some friends like that overanalyze every single thing. Every text they get, every Instagram post they get. If they don't get enough likes on an Instagram post, they overanalyze it. What did I do wrong? I'm a failure. I mean, I have some friends that I overanalyze things, but I don't know, just like it's like real world problems I overanalyze. Like whenever I left my last job and decided to do my podcast full time, I start thinking about overanalyzing like money, living, how am I going to pay rent? I no longer have insurance, so I have to like get my own insurance because my company's not giving it to me anymore. So I overanalyze real things. But friendships, I no longer overanalyze. Either you're a good friend or you're not. And if you're not, I get rid of you pretty quickly now. And I've said this before in this podcast. I've had friends that I've been friends with for over a decade or even longer, some. And once I have this gut feeling about somebody, you're out. And yeah, that's happened several times in the past few years, especially. As I said, when I turned 50, I cleaned house. I got rid of so many shit friends, and I have no regrets about it. There's not one of them that I would ever want to be friends with again because they're shit people and they don't belong in my life. And you know what? They're probably listening to this podcast. And if you are, you know who you are. And we'll be right back. Okay, now back to the show. So I think I'm one of the rare people that don't have like a different personality. I think who you see is what you get. I'm pretty much the same in a work setting as I am in a social setting, as I am kind of just on the phone or over text. I'm kind of that same person. I don't have a filter a lot of times. I'm trying to work on that though. And I will have to say at work, I do have more of a filter than I did prior years. I'm definitely more politically correct at work. But at the same time, As soon as I find that person at work that I know that will get my humor, it's all coming out. Like it's all. So I'm really the same person. There's no kind of nothing fake about me. But if I'm meeting with the CEO of a company I'm working for, of course I'm not being bawdy and I'm not saying inappropriate things and stuff. So I know how to be professional. But your work friends, like I know how to like tone it down, but I also know how to be my real self. That's what everybody loves is my real self. So, and then I have friends that meet someone, this is probably a lot of you, and you meet a guy, whether it's on these dating apps, Hinge or um, whatever the other dating apps are, Hinge. I don't know other dating apps. Grindr's not a dating app. Grindr's a hookup app. Plenty of Fish, Hinge, Match. I don't think anybody uses Match anymore. But whatever dating app that my friends meet these guys on, I have 3 friends that do this. They fall in love on the first date. They think about like how they're going to end up living together. They are going to think about just like if they don't get the text back right away, what did they do wrong? And then when the person texts back like 5 minutes later, they're like, okay, everything is good. And yeah, they have this whole fantasy that's built up in their head. I have 3 friends that do this. They meet somebody in a bar, or they meet somebody on one of these apps, or they even meet somebody on the hookup apps, Grindr or whatever, and they think, oh, this person could be a boyfriend. He's boyfriend material. He's a doctor, or he is a dentist, or he is a lawyer, or he is a pharmaceutical executive or whatever. And this is the person that I'm going to be with. They have planned out their entire life through retirement and death with this person. And they've only gone on one date or they've only had one hookup. They move so fast and they focus on that one person and they stop talking to anybody else. It's crazy. Yes, 3 friends like that. So I'm not going to say who the 3 friends are, but if they listen to my podcast, they know who they are. And then there is the self-awareness spiral. And you're doing it. You're analyzing yourself. You still do it. Therapy did not fix you. And it just made you how aware of how insane you really are. Because you finally realize how self-aware you are about how you act. You go out to bars, you go out to dinner with friends, you go to a work event, happy hour event, and you've had maybe a little too much to drink, or you felt really comfortable around somebody, and then you spiral afterwards because you're thinking, shit, why did I say that? And you overanalyze it in your head 1,000 times. I used to do that where I would go out, have too much to drink, make a complete ass out of myself in one way or another, say inappropriate things to my friends and people we didn't know. And not mean, just like inappropriate. I don't even know. I can't even think of an example. Like, I can give you an example. In Provincetown last year, we went out. There was a group of us that went out. I think it was 3 nights in a row we were drinking. And the 3rd night of drinking and probably doing gummies, I was like, I'm done. Because at the end of the night, whenever I went to my room, I was like, okay, I had a great time. It was fun. And the next day, when I woke up, I looked on my phone at the pictures, and there were moments that I did not remember. I'm like, who the fuck did I take this selfie with? I don't even know this person, but I did it. And then I realized, as I'm looking at the other pictures, throughout that night, I had a little bit of blackout here and there. And because you know why? Because I can't drink the way I used to, because I don't drink as often as I used to. Like I can go weeks, I can go a month without having one drink. Like I don't usually drink at home at all. And then I go through periods of time when I go on vacation, I'm having drinks every single night. But my body does not process it the way I did whenever I was 21, 22, 25, 28, whatever. Hangovers last a lot longer. And as you get older, I think this is just how it is. But we all have had those regretful nights where you've gone out and woke up the next day and you're like, fuck, did I really say that to somebody? And that night in particular, when I was in Provincetown and I woke up the next day regretting, I just remember I am not drinking at my age. And I did not act my age. And I embarrassed. I was so embarrassed. I was embarrassed. I still am a little embarrassed about it. And it took me weeks to get past that because I became self aware and I spiraled into that self awareness. And I have like made fun of those people because my friend Tony did this a few years before I just did it last summer. And he was drunk. We were in Provincetown. There was a couch that these 3 or 4 guys were sitting on, and he went and laid on their laps thinking he's so cute. I'm like, and I said, girl, you are not a twink anymore. You are not cute and young anymore. You are 53 years old. They don't, or however old he was, 50 at the time. You got to stop. They don't think you're cute. Your body's okay, but you're not who you were. You can't get away with trying to be a cute little young kid anymore because you're not that. And those guys were probably younger than you that you were literally laying. You went and laid on 4 laps. So you embarrassed yourself. You embarrassed me. And they were thinking like, what is this old fucking queen doing? She is so drunk. She needs to learn how to take her alcohol in at this age. But we've all done that with going out. We've all had the next morning where you wake up and you have these regrets. We all have times where we've said something at work. You come home and you overanalyze it. And you're like, God, why did I say that to that person? It was so inappropriate. Or why did I speak up in that meeting? I should have just kept my mouth shut. Or why did I text that to my friend? That was so mean. Like, why did I say that? Sometimes I send a text, and later that night or the next day, I'm like, oh, why did I say that? I shouldn't have said that. That was a little overboard, even for my friend. So we all have been there and we all have spiraled out of control. It's that self-awareness spiral, which I think is important. So are these all toxic traits that we have? Yes, we all have these. Do gay men have them a little bit more? Sometimes, yeah. Me, yeah, I have maybe a little bit more toxic traits than a normal person. But at the end, I think I'm funny and I think people think I'm funny. And sometimes I think I'm funnier than I really am, but it's okay. And I think that I am more vulnerable than other people. I can take back the jokes and the humor when it comes to me. I can take it. I love it. I just met a new friend, I don't know, like 7 weeks ago. We were at a bar together and he came back and said something to me about my outfit, like totally joking. And I'm just like, oh, I knew I was going to like you because I loved it that he said that. He only met me, that was only the second time that we hung out. And he came back with a little kind of, snarky, like kind of just like little dig. And I loved it. So I think why I think this works with me is because I'm a little campy, I'm a little funny, but I'm self-aware. And that's so important to be self-aware. And I don't take things too seriously. Like if somebody says something to me that's rude or nasty and they're doing it just to be rude or nasty, then I'm just like, okay, yeah, you're not for me. But if somebody is saying it joking around or a friend says something and they have a regret about it and they say, oh God, I didn't mean to say it like that. I'm sorry. Like, fine, you get a pass. But listen, all gays are judgmental, more judgmental than straight people for sure. And that is okay. We all have had to go through some shit in our life. Either you were bullied or made fun of somehow, or you were insecure because you were gay, or maybe even your family doesn't speak to you anymore because you came out of the closet. So you are allowed, you have permission to be a little more judgy than regular people, to be who you are. But here's my last thing. You can be who you are. You can be judgy. You can be all these things. You can be a little toxic sometimes. But just remember to be kind. Be kind to people. That's the biggest thing. You can be mean sometimes to the right people. You can be judgy when you're out with your friends. But you don't have to be judgy and say it to somebody. You don't have to say that outfit is horrendous and it fit you 10 years ago, but today it doesn't, sweetie. No need to say that because they have a mirror and they know what they look like and they feel comfortable wearing it. So it's okay. However, if your friend comes out wearing an outfit that fit them 10 years ago and it no longer fits, you should tell them. Because if I wore an outfit that does not fit me any longer or it looks like shit or it's outdated and my friends didn't tell me, I would be pissed off. So I want to know if I don't look good. That's not really going to happen because that won't happen because I always look good. But anyway, that's me being campy and funny. Thank you for listening to the latest episode of The Gay Bit. Hopefully, I wasn't rambling too much, and hopefully, you got something out of this, and hopefully, you related to this because I'm trying to come up with things that people relate to. And I think this is all things that we have all gone through. So if you think this episode resonated with you and would resonate with your friends, share it with your friends. Leave a comment. I need comments on my podcast. I need to know what people think about it. And I'd also would love if you went to my Instagram and sent me a DM and telling me about maybe topics you'd want me to talk about. My Instagram is The Real Zach RE. And you can find me on Instagram and send me a DM. I look at my DMs every other day and I will write you back, I promise. Thanks for listening, and talk to you next week with more LGBTQ stories and interviews.